Mike King here. Well, I have part 2 this week of a report to you about our wonderful gathering that we had of the CEOs from around the country of our different affiliates that came to the Dallas-Fort Worth area just a week ago, and we had a great meeting. I shared some about that with you last week. Part 2 this week literally goes to one of our social events that we had that we couldn't have done without Angela King. Angela King, our CEO of Volunteers of America, Texas, literally offered her home, her personal residence, and her backyard swimming pool as a home for an event to have a dinner and pool party there on one of the evenings when everyone was gathered together. It couldn't have been a better circumstance. It couldn't have been a better circumstance. Of course, you're in Texas in July and it's hot. So it's great to have a pool nearby. Always great to have a pool nearby. And then also you could also stay in the air conditioning in Angela's living room and eat the great food that they had catered there that night. But in addition to the great socialization that could happen at that time and the visiting and the reconnecting for everyone, as I said last week, it was really like a reunion for everyone. Because we had the pool and we had some folks out there swimming, of course, this is a competitive group, and they had a cannonball competition, And I wasn't out there at the time that was happening. I already slipped into the cool air conditioning by that time, but I understand that Kathy Bray, our CEO from Utah, was the winner. Now, I don't know how many judges we had and all that sort of thing, but I understand she was the winner. So, our CEOs have great talent. They have incredible talent to do many things. So for those of you in Utah, you may check with Kathy about that. I think that's pretty special. I think that's very cool. Well, this week we had another active week and busy week and great week for Volunteers of America. With our DEI work, we had a really nice opportunity. As you know, we haven't been able to have a personal gathering of a national conference this year, but instead our team has been doing a fantastic job of doing this literally through Zoom, where we have had a series of plenary speakers, if you will, and it's been great to be able to connect that way. And frankly, the attendance has been through the roof. Well, just this week, we had Dr. Kendi, who is the author of the anti-racism work that he's doing. He's been widely heralded, 2 different New York Times bestsellers, and he's got another book out as well. Amazing, articulate young man and intellectual. We had a nice interview with him, about a 20-minute interview, and if you missed it, you can catch it on YouTube, and it's only 20 minutes, so it's a quick listen, and it was a fascinating opportunity for us. So we appreciate him sharing that time. He spends his time now going on talk shows and those kinds of things, and also you might want to catch his TED Talk. But he was very, very authentic, very vulnerable, and he writes in a vulnerable way as well. In his writings, he shares his own personal stories, and I complimented him on that this week. That really was a wonderful way of sort of engaging you in that when he shares his own transparency and his own vulnerability, and he did so again with us. So not only is he a very articulate and informed and educated scholar, at the same time, he's very vulnerable and incredibly caring and compassionate about this work of his. So check that out. We had a great conversation. I hope we'll have future ones. And again, it's a part of our study. It's a part of our journey in DEI to truly become better human beings. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, is for us to become more empathetic, more loving, more understanding human beings of each other and all of our differences, and learn to love that about each other. And that's really the real mission behind this journey. In addition to that, this week we had a chance to view maybe a scene of the future. Dr. Rita Nakashima-Brock and I took a tour of a place called the Wadsworth Chapel. It is a chapel that was literally built in 1887. Years ago, and it sits on the campus, on the VA campus, the Veterans Administration campus in Los Angeles. That's where they serve veterans there in droves. At the same time, it was started by an action taken by Abraham Lincoln. Literally in 1866, he created an act which said, we will create this national home, if you will, for disabled veterans. And did so. It was built literally in 1900. And so that far back it goes. And at the same time, the chapel was built in 1887. And so we looked at that as a potential site for future training in moral injury, future services for veterans in suffering from moral injury in this chapel. Chapel needs to be restored. There's some local resources being raised right now to look towards that, and even some VA resources being earmarked for it. But it has wonderful potential as sort of a West Coast site, if you will, for moral injury training. We'll be looking for some collaboration with the organization called U.S. Vets, who's been doing wonderful services there for veterans in the same way that we have for years with our LA affiliate. It's a collaborative effort, and it will take a village to do this, but we think there's great potential there. So keep that in mind. I'll keep updating you on that, but we were excited about the potential we saw. And you know, that's key in this day and age. We have to always keep hope. Always keep hoping and looking to the future and seeing what we can do to make things better for all of us, and particularly for those who we have a mission to serve. God bless all of you.